Hello, welcome. We were just catching up here, and I was saying, what a sweet, beautiful reunion of souls. I love these calls. I love seeing everyone's smiling faces. So good to catch up and hear stories. And so today we're going to do some fun things, of course. And if you're new, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. We're so happy someone invited you here today. And we're going to drop into a little game. So here's how it works. I'm going to go ahead and share this with you. Okay, thumbs up. Everybody can see it. Okay, so we've got a little bingo happening here. And whether you've been here a long time, years, whether you're brand new, this is going to be applicable. So here's how it works. And you can, the free spot has been there, right? The free spot has been there. So just mentally mark it off or write it off. Uh, but you're gonna mark it in one way. If it's still true for you, you'll mark the gold. If it used to be true, then you'll mark it the green. Okay, so you're just getting three in a row, and then we're gonna hear some reflections. So let's see. Tired by noon. Mark what's true for you. There's no right answers. Cravings you can't explain. True or not true or used to be. Weight that won't budge. Bloating that feels normal. Been there. We all get that free one. Sleeping but never rested. The 3 p.m. crash. Brain fog mid-afternoon. Or reaching for caffeine or sugar to push through. So this is the sound familiar bingo. Just go ahead, mark off what relates, what doesn't, what is true, what used to be. I'll give everybody a minute here. And then we're going to dive into deeper conversation about understanding our body as to why these things actually happen. So getting a deeper lens into our bodies. Okay, sweet. So I'd love to hear if that was enough time. If not, I'll put it back up. So who got a bingo from the I'm still dealing with this side? And who got a bingo on the I used to deal with this, but not anymore side? So, and I'd love to hear just little 30-second reflections from both. So yeah, if anybody wants to share or volunteer. All right, Shelby.
Yeah, they were all used to be me. And it's so interesting, right? Because we kind of drop into this headspace that this is normal, you know? Um, and I think one of my biggest, I mean, this has been consistent for me the last 2 years, but it just doesn't stop blowing my mind that the body if you give it the baseline sustenance that it needs, it's going to continue to just get deeper and better and more prolific, the experience of being in this human body. So for me, yeah, I used to be tired all the time. I always had big fluctuations in my energy. I thought that was just normal. And I was like, oh, it's just my personality. It's just who I am, you know? And, bloating, yeah, I had some stubborn bloat right around my navel area that I was just like, gosh, it's just always so hard right there, and I had inflammation in my sacrum from giving birth and all the things, all the things. And I just thought it was normal until, I started eliminating what was no longer serving my body and saturating it with all the good stuff. So it's been a continuous up, up, up for me.
Aw, beautiful upward spirals, right?
Yes, yes.
Life is a spiral. We're always learning. And something I think of is what I like to say that we're doing here is really restoring the innate intelligence of living systems, our body included. And that also goes back to the land, the ecology, the farming, the way that we farm, right? So sweet. Thank you so much, Shelby, for sharing. So good to see you. Mary Beth.
Yeah, hey, I like this bingo. I also was that used to be me on all of them. And it's funny because I was thinking about when that time frame was, and that was at a period in my life where I considered myself pretty healthy. And I was still dealing with a myriad of those symptoms. And so it's just funny how in our societies we sometimes normalize these things like bloating and crashing before noon and still feeling those symptoms, but still thinking I'm pretty healthy, like compared to other people. And so it's cool to like think about that reflection and then realize that, there's always that opportunity to blow our minds and what we think healthy is, right? Like we can always be improving and growing in that direction. And it just shows me how far I've come in my what I thought was healthy kind of mindset. So
Hmm. I love that, Mary Beth. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, and improving the quality of our life, the quality of our relationships, the depth of our presence, the way we show up in the world, right? It all really matters, and you're so right. We do tend to normalize so many things because um there's a fracture in the food system, in the nutrition, right? In the busyness of life, which that's fine, but this really comes back as a real solution for me. So I love you sharing that. Anybody else have any shares, anything that they want to add on either of the? Yes.
Well, good evening, and I love the bingo too. That's cute. I love that. Ditto, ditto, ditto for everybody. All of those used to be me. And then about the weight, I have released some weight. I want to release more, but all of that used to be me, and I used to think like you guys that that was normal for me. And then people were saying, "Well, you're just getting older. You just got to get used to it." And I was like, I don't want to get used to this. And so um, by changing the way I eat and changing the way I live, I just feel so much better. I feel like a totally different person. So I'm really glad that I found you guys because now I'm living the life that I'm supposed to live. Thank you.
Oh, we're so happy you're here, right? All of
Yes,
these really,
yes.
yes, yes. These are like relationships here, everyone here, you deeply enhance my life so much. So I'm just so grateful for this community and this participation, and everyone that is here also was asking deeper questions like, wait, there's more. I don't have to settle for this. How do I close that gap? What is more, right? And you answered that question through your curiosity and perseverance and continuing to look, right, for answers. So I want to speak to some of these things. And for those of you that do have those areas where you're still experiencing these things. Your body's not broken, not at all, right? We've been running on the wrong fuel, and that's because today's food supply can leave us undernourished in key areas, even when we're eating well and trying to eat well. And that's not on you, that's just modern food, that's just where we're at, but we're closing that gap, right? Education is closing that gap. So I want to talk about breakfast for a second because I think this is where it begins for a lot of us, so many of us. And you've probably heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Yeah, you've heard that. And honestly, there is a lot of truth in that. So, overnight, your body has been fasting for 8 to 10 to 12 hours, which is also when we're repairing and regenerating, and your blood sugar is low, right? So your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, is naturally elevated. It's at its highest point in the day, right when you wake up. So what you do in that first hour, it actually helps your body to come down off of that spike smoothly, or it doesn't. Right. So many of us, raise your hand if you've ever been there or if you still do this. We either skip breakfast entirely, or we grab something like cereal or pastry or coffee or just something that's fast, often can be full of sugar, right? So, right, or we get busy, right? We get distracted. So that actually makes the blood sugar swing worse. It spikes it. And then following that spike, you get a crash, which is a big reason for that 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. wall that we talked about in our bingo. Um, and so this is one of the many thousands of reasons that I love my power shake in the morning. It literally takes me 30 seconds, which is faster than a coffee order most of the time. And it's giving my body that organic, mineral dense superfood greens instead of just empty sugar. And it's stabilizing that blood sugar. So it's giving our cells that cellular energy. So when I reach for it, I'm like, man, my cells need energy. And that's when I reach for it. But it's also supporting that cleansing and that hydration and that alkalizing. And it's just nutrient dense in a way that granola bars or pancakes are not, right? So we don't have to white knuckle our way into lunch anymore, just with that easy simplicity. And I really want to speak to women because this was eye-opening for me. Let's see. Shelby says, I almost skipped breakfast this morning on the way to drum camp. And I was like, wait, there's still time for a smoothie, the original fast food. Yes, exactly. I love that. So, yeah, I want to speak to women because our hormones are very different. And we and the way that we switch up our mornings can change, that can impact our entire day. So we as women respond to stress and blood sugar swings differently. And our cortisol naturally peaks higher for everyone. But if a woman doesn't get protein, easily absorbable protein early in the day, that cortisol spike actually doesn't come down. It stays elevated longer, which shows up as more stress, more anxiety, more of that wired but tired feeling, hard to just land in our bodies, in our presence, in our relationships. So, protein in the morning is a simple way to help that curve come down, to find that equilibrium. And again, an easy, simple solution, the super amino 23. So if you're ever feeling imbalanced, if you're ever feeling you need just that equilibrium, right? That's where you can just bring that in. And I actually carry it with me in my bag, in my purse. So I always have it. If my blood sugar is dipping because I've been nursing, whatever it is, I just make sure I have it there for that sustained endurance. And it really truly does take the edge off of that cortisol spike that is so common and that is in our natural hormone fluctuation throughout the day. And then if you pair that with your power shake, then you have your blood sugar balanced and stabilized, and you have that absorbable protein, the amino acids, even before you leave the house. And then what happens in the afternoon? So who filled out that they had experienced that 2 or 3 p.m. crash in the past, or maybe still experience it? So there's two big reasons. One is that lunches can be heavy on carbs and light again on that absorbable protein and those aminos. They're 99% bioavailable. They're really easy to absorb. And then if our digestion is inflamed or sluggish, that shows up as brain fog, right? So there is that body-brain connection, and what we're putting into our body, into our environment, it is an ecosystem. So from the air we breathe to the conversations we have, to the food we put into our body, to our passions and the things that we're experiencing, they actually do have a physiological response in our body and in our nervous system. So, what I love is, again, that power shake, but also the dark berry protein. It has the lion's mane to really support the nervous system. It has that absorbable protein. It has your berries. So it's really supporting that brain and focus. So bring that in anytime you need that brain and focus. I brought in the power shake mixed with the dark berry protein before this call because I wanted to show up with my full energy, right, for this conversation. So that is really helpful. And it doesn't just mask the symptoms, it really supports your body where it's needing it, right? So yeah, and then we have that afternoon stretch. And this is also where that inflammation can come in. Most of us have underlying inflammation. So, how can we support a healthy inflammatory response throughout the day? Again, it's lifestyle. And so chronic low grade inflammation is linked to mood dips, achiness, heavy, foggy feeling. So that's where you can also bring in the omega 3s, the super omega, the algae, the alpha omega. And again, that's your DHA, EPA. So it's just clean, plant-based source omega. And that's going to support that healthy inflammatory response. So, again, supporting aches in the body and that's supporting that brain. And then in the evening, as we've talked about many times, that's when your body goes into repair mode, rest, digest, nervous system restoration. So, your inherent blueprint, your body knows what to do. We all have a living biology inside of us that's connected to nature. It is so smart and so intelligent. I can't even, like, it's really truly a miracle every day, right? All the things that our body is doing every second of every day. And that's also reflected in nature and the ecosystem. So, what happens at night is our body is restoring. And when you bring in the sleep nightly and the biomedic, you're really supporting that gut restoration. You're really supporting um, those adaptogens, like your sleep nightly has your reishi and your ashwagandha herbs in it. So that's helping your body to recalibrate, handle stress rather than just knocking you out, right? So those are just a few things that I wanted to talk to. And also, so many of us I know um, have families, have community members that we love in our lives. And so many mothers that I talk to deal with the mental load of how do I get my kids to eat enough fruits and veggies throughout the day, right? Most people are not actually getting enough servings in. So they're trying to sneak things into dinner or feeling, um, like guilty at the end of the day, thinking that they didn't get enough in. And that can be really exhausting and it's like a constant. So I've been really lucky that I haven't had that stress just because I've had these shelf stable superfoods at my fingertips. And Layla, my daughter, she asks for them every day. She genuinely loves them. She goes, shake, shake, shaky, shake. And she shakes it up herself and she loves it. She adores it. She does the whole yeah, so I know that she's getting the support that she needs, her gut, her brain, her nervous system, her body. And it saved me so much time. So again, for mothers, for families, something that's wonderfully supportive of that. I love the Epigenius family. That's your kind of chocolatey shake, but it has your gut support in it. It has the biomedic in it. It has your fruits and your veggies, and it has that brain support. Um, and then of course, any of the others, right? All of the others. I give her the dark berry for the brain support, the nervous system support, the dark greens, and she loves them all. We mix them. So, quick, simple hacks. And I wanted to do a reflection. This is kind of a behavioral reflection that I find so very helpful. So, I'd love for everyone to share their personal reflections in the chat, or if you want to come off mute. But this is applicable to any area of your life. So, if you do the thing, which in this instance is having your superfoods, what you get more good stuff. So, what is the good stuff for you personally? I'd love for you to name it or write it out or think about it. As we know, it's more energy, better sleep, steadier mood, easier digestion, healthy blood sugar, the stuff that we want. But I'd love to hear your reflection of it or just think it, right? Put it in the chat. And then again, an internal reflection point, and I will share this for everybody so that you can reflect upon it later as well, is if you don't do the thing, you get more bad stuff, right? So that was kind of everything on our bingo card, cravings, crashes, fog, everything that just kind of piles up. And then if you don't do the thing, you get less good stuff. So even when we're eating pretty healthy, it doesn't fully close that gap anymore with modern soil and processed foods and all the things we're exposed to. So getting those key nutrients and that gentle daily detoxification where our cells can have that communication is so important. So things that used to be neutral are not neutral. What is it quietly costing you? And then when you do the thing, you get less bad stuff. So this is the subtraction by addition that we talk to all the time of you're putting so many good inputs in that the other things just start to disappear. Um, so your body feels fed and maybe you have less crashes, less cravings, more room to show up. I like the laser focus in my life. That's beautiful. So yeah, those were kind of the conversation pieces I wanted to have today. More energy, less sugar cravings, healthy skin, nails, hair. Um, and we covered a lot, right? Breakfast, cortisol, the 3 p.m. crash, kids, nourishing our families. But really, and yes, I will let anyone share. Really, the point is us connecting, coming together as community, showing up for each other and paying attention to your body, right? Paying attention to what you're feeding yourself, how you're nourishing yourself, how you're caring for yourself. So, Karen, yes.
Uh, Again, I know I have said this a million times, but sleep for me now is it's like heavenly. And as I said before, my dreams are just so vivid. I mean, they are just it's amazing. It's like I'm just walking through and I can see all the beautiful colors and everything is just so clear. And I've already, I've always had pretty good dreams where I could see what was going on, but this is different. It's like I'm right there. It
Mm.
really, 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 really is. And I attribute it to the apothecary and the sleep nightly. I truly do. And I don't think I could ever be without it. I love it.
Oh, I love that. It's like participating in life in HD, except beyond, right? It's like the
That part,
really
that part.
participating.
Yes, yes.
I love that you shared that. And yeah, participation right now is my favorite word because it's like, are we really participating with life? Like, are we immersed in it? Like you said, saturated in the colors, the vibrancy, the dreams, all of it. I love that. Yeah, and I'd love to hear any other reflections that people have. Thank you, Karen.
Yes, I'm sure I can jump in on participation for sure. And HD, I can riff off of that all day. Yeah. Um, I just continue to hit higher and new levels for myself and even for our family, where I honestly feel like I'm busting out of a matrix or something. And like get free for real. Like get free in your body and in the internal world, like the cerebral parts to really come in alignment with one's thoughts and then bring because the mental part of us is actually so strong for us to bring like the dreams, the ideas, the inspirations forward and actually create that reality in front of us, and how we're building our lives, our homes, how we're spending our days. That's nice,
That's
nice metaphor.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's pretty fun. You start really becoming an architect in
Mm.
your own life, and I've, just on a grand scale for us, um, too, I love good orderly direction, but it's really fun to start chiseling out like what you believe in and really giving your life's energy and your presence and your purpose to the areas of the world where you want to be, because
Mhm.
life is so precious and time is really valuable. So we've started spending it differently and
Mhm.
less following someone else's blueprint and more about creating the life that we really want and we deserve.
Mm.
And it just continues to get better with time.
I
Yeah.
love that, Allison. Yeah, and architecting the life that you want from the inside out, right? And then life really becomes your canvas of how you want to live. And what I hear so many beautiful things from you, but integrity comes through, right? So what I know I feel from this is the integrity, the quality of the food. And then I know that that's an important value for me personally. It has been my whole life. But what are the important values to you, to each of you, right? And I feel that through line of that integrity from my food to my business to the way I show up in the world, right? So being able to bring it to one more thing that's so important that we do every day, multiple times a day is truly important. And when you mentioned the matrix too, I always think of the part where right? The classic part where they're bending backwards and avoiding the bullet. Right? And uh to me, there's so many metaphors for that. I mean, the bullet can be so many things. The bullet can be glyphosate, right? And then you have this beautiful nutrition to literally avoid the bullet. But to me, it's also a literal ability to slow down and pivot and navigate real time. So if something is going in a direction that you don't actually want it to, being able to pause in that moment and being able to literally like dodge the bullet and redirect. And it's a real thing. It's a real ability in your nervous system once it's nourished, once you have that recalibration, once you have that presence. So all those things are great. Thank you. Shelby.
Hi again. Yeah, I'm going to tail off of Allison as well because you touched on structure. I love me some structure. I was the kid like in school that couldn't wait to get the new agenda, the new binders, the calendars they give you. I was like, oh my gosh, don't even tempt me with a good time. And when I got introduced to Purium, I was like, oh my gosh, a schedule? This is top notch. And I tend to be one of those people who undereats or skips meals, and it's just because I'm just doing my life, I'm tending to my son and all the things. And before Purium came into my world, I felt like I was always eating and I
Mhm.
was just always hungry. Even as a kid, I was like, are you going to finish that? Can I have your snack? and
Me
um
too.
and I was like, I don't know why I'm always so hungry, but whatever. I'm always feeding myself, and I was eating as healthy as I thought I could be. And then flash forward 2 years, and now I don't necessarily get hungry anymore. So sometimes I can still forget to eat, but it's trained me to build this habit through the structure, through that schedule, the repetition of we eat for fuel, we eat for sustenance, not just for hunger. And so I'm not skipping meals, I'm not under eating. Like I said today, I almost did it and I was like, it's too easy to just go hungry, but it's not easy to go undernourished. And I know how that affects me throughout the day. So
Mhm.
um, love it. I love it so
Yeah.
much. That's my stuff.
I love that. That is so valuable, really and truly. And it's that habit stacking. It's like you've got this new foundational baseline of taking care of yourself at a new level. And yeah, and that just keeps building, which you mentioned that at the beginning, it just gets better and better because these foundations, these habits get richer and deeper. Yeah, I love these conversations. That's what these calls are really about for me is these conversations, is this community connection. And thank you everyone for showing up in all the ways that you do and also showing up to these calls and just having this community to cheer each other on. It's the little teeny things that really add up and matter. So thank you, Shelby. I love that. And I can totally relate. I was the same. So feeling nourished is big. Yay. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here, and we'll be here next week to continue the connection, continue the conversation, and yeah, continue to learn as well together. So thanks, and we'll see you guys next time. And if you are new and someone invited you, please connect back with them. They just love and care about you, and ask them any questions you have. And we'll see you
Mhm.
again. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love y'all.
Great
Call too.
call. Love ya.
Love y'all.
Bye bye. Take
Bye.
care now. Bye, Drea.